Hey guys, my name is Huschenbeth and welcome to another episode of how to solve chess tactics. So in the first video I already explained how it works, so for you guys who haven't seen it yet, I'll just describe it very quickly again. So what I'm going to do is right now, first of all, go to the tactics trainer of chess24 because this is where we are going to solve the tactics, right here, and then start classic trainer. And we got a tactic on the board, a very famous tactic actually, but maybe you don't know it yet. And now I would like you to solve this tactic, and so stop the video and then you can compare your thoughts and your ideas to my ideas and my thoughts. So stop the video right now. Alright, so it's a little bit unfortunate because since it's such a famous example, I already know it, but I can still try to show you how I maybe would solve it without knowing it, okay? So first of all, it looks like not much is going on because, well, like simply offering to exchange rooks on the e-file and my queen is attacked, and so what is there to do? I could exchange everything on e8, but obviously white is not better in any way. So let's have a look at the candidate moves. So it's a very, very important topic, by the way, candidate moves. Candidate moves just means what are the possible moves in the position. And obviously there, well, apart from rook takes e8, there are no moves to take anything, so it's got to be a quiet move. Quiet move is simply a move which is not a check and not a move which takes something. Alright, so let's move to queen. And then maybe at some point you would find out that the queen can go to g4 because there are these ideas with the back rank of black and back rank mates, and the queen cannot be taken on g4. And even if black takes on e2, I can take the queen on d7 because my rook on e1 is protected. So let's play that right now. Okay, so the queen moves somewhere else. And now the question is, how can I proceed? So one idea would be to in some way attack the queen again. So what about a4? The problem is that maybe white is also having some back rank issues. And this is really a quite difficult example, but let's take a look. After a4, it seems as if the black queen can actually sacrifice itself this time on e2, because after rook takes e2, rook c1 check, this time white is being back rank mated. So after queen takes e2, yeah, it's pretty much all over. I was thinking queen takes c8, but then queen takes e1 check, knight takes e1, rook takes c8, and black is up a queen. Excuse me, up a rook. So what are other options? And then you can see there's a way to attack the queen again, which is queen c4. Again, using the fact, exploiting the fact that still the queen cannot be taken because of back rank issues. And it's really, I think, one of the most beautiful tactics there is. Alright, so the queen moved back. So obviously after queen g4 it would be perpetual. So what other options do we have? And now let's just chase the queen and go to c7. And if you have once spotted this idea of just chasing the queen again and again, maybe it's not that difficult for you anymore to find these moves such as queen c4 and queen c7. Alright, so the queen moved back. So now the queen is on c7. And how to continue now? So after queen takes b7, it seems it's the same problem we had before with the queen on g4. Again, queen takes e2 is coming. So maybe now a4. But then queen takes e2 again. But this time, after rook takes e2, black can not give the back rank mate because the queen is in the way. And, well, it seems that, yeah, it seems white is just winning. a4, queen takes e2, rook takes e2, and either way, rook takes c7 or rook takes e2, there's gonna be a back rank mate again. So what does it help after a4, queen takes a4? How to continue then? That's the question. So then queen c4 would be possible, simply black would go back to d7, so it doesn't help. But maybe there's a different move. And again, if you would like to, you can still, it's still not that easy at this point to solve. So still, you can still stop the video and try to solve it. By the way, that's the case at any point. If you feel like, okay, I would like to do some more work, or I suddenly see why my solution didn't work, then just go ahead, stop the video and try to solve it again. Okay, so here the idea is now to move the rook to e4. Again, exploiting the fact that the black rook couldn't take because of backward mate, and the queen takes, but now I simply take back, and again we have a similar situation we already talked about. Now it's backward mate. And one more line I would like to talk about is after queen takes a4, rook e4, you might ask, well, what about if simply queen b5? Then the difference is, I don't think I can play it right now, but you can do it in your head. The difference is that after queen takes b7, now the black queen cannot take on e2. So this was the idea of a4, queen takes on rook e4. The rook is on e4 now, not in e2. So after queen takes b7, then the black queen really doesn't have any squares anymore to go, and white is winning because rook takes e4. Well, either way, queen takes b5, or even faster, queen takes c8. So that's winning. All right, spent quite some time on this puzzle. So let's see the next one. Again, stop the video and I'll gonna try to solve it now. Okay, what's going on here? Looks like I'm having some kind of attack against the black king, but how is it going to work out concrete? So right now black is not threatening anything because rook takes e7 is failing due to queen takes c8. But how can I improve my position? Also have to have an eye on queen takes b2. So some candidates are to somehow interrupt this diagonal, interrupt the queen from protecting the pawn on g7, because if somehow I can put something on f6 and then threaten mate, I would be winning. So my first candidate is now to play rook f6. Simply to threaten checkmate because, well, g takes queen g7 and queen takes f6, knight takes f6, that's also winning. So what can black do? And now we have to take a look at different options, obviously. So g6 is a move, but not really. I mean, opening up the king even more can't be right. It should be just crushing, for example, after rook takes h7. So another move would be rook g8. Just passively protecting the pawn. This is possible. It's not so easy to see a way through. Then there's some more lines I have to calculate, such as rook takes g7, such as maybe knight g5 even. That's pretty interesting. So does black have any other moves? And the problem is, I mentioned it before, maybe queen takes b2 is unpleasant because my king is not really that safe. And knight f2 fails, so queen takes f6, and rook f2 doesn't help me because then simply I'm not threatening checkmate anymore. So I have to move to a king g1. But now maybe black simply continues to give checks, and I don't think there's a way out for me. Queen a1, king g2, or king g2 even runs into knight at e3. So now it doesn't look like it's going to work. So rook f6 was a promising candidate, but doesn't seem to work. So can I play something else to f6, knight f6? Well, the problem with knight f6 is obviously that then my queen is hanging on g4. But, oh, that's fantastic. So black can take on g4, and he pretty much has to. But then I can take on e8 with the knight, threatening checkmate with the rook on f8. And it seems like black doesn't have a check. e2 is protected, and he can't protect both against the mate and move his queen, because the attack's still from pawn on h3. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that seems to work. Again, knight f6. Okay, queen takes b2, simply king h1. No more checks, because this time the rook is back here to protect my king. And then again there are issues with the pawn g7. Again, rook takes e7 runs to queen takes c8. So that seems to work. So knight f6, queen takes g4, knight takes e8. Anything I've missed, you should always make sure to check that before you play your move in the game. Just double check again. It's really a lifesaver sometimes. Any way for black to play the queen to g8? No. Okay, seems to work. Let's go for it. Yep, that's it. Alright, pretty difficult to find. Okay, let's do one more. Alright. Again, your turn now. And now I'm going to try to solve it. So, what's going on? King is awkwardly placed on h2. There are some ideas on the c file. And also, I mean, a lot of pieces hanging around, I feel like. So, let's see. Taking h6 doesn't really seem to help me right now. I mean, I don't want to bring his queen into attack, so that's not a candidate. So another move would be maybe to attack the knight on c3 with d4. That looks interesting, at least. So the knight has to move somewhere. Or he could take on g7. Not that clear. So d4, bishop takes g7. King takes g7, obviously. Knight e4. Now I could take on b4. But I don't know if that's really that convincing. Because maybe a knight c5 or something along these lines. I'm not too happy with that. So let's see if I have any other candidate moves. But d4 looks alright. Let's see if we have something better. That's also, I think Emmanuel Lasker, the second world champion, said that once. So if you find a good move, look for a better one. And that's what we're trying to do right now. And another move which looks promising is knight d4. Because then the queen is in this pin. There are ideas with knight takes e2. And not the queen is in this pin, by the way, the knight is in this pin. And knight takes d4 obviously fails to e takes d4, and then the knight is lost. So what is black going to do? What is white going to do after knight d4? Because, well, there's also a threat with bishop takes h6 and taking on c3. And if white takes on g7, then actually it opens up the route for my rook to h8. So that looks very promising. I don't think we have to do any more calculation here, because this just looks very good. And I don't actually see a way for white to defend against all these threats. So let's go for it. Actually plays queen d2. Okay. I didn't see that coming, to be honest. I want to play bishop takes h6 now, queen takes, and rook takes c3. So what's wrong with that? Maybe, no. Maybe white is developing some kind of attack. So rook takes c3. No, wait. Bishop takes h6 first. Okay. Queen takes is forced. Rook takes c3. Okay, so knight takes d4, e takes d4, king g1. But I don't believe that. Is that really that dangerous? Some ideas here. Maybe. So, I don't know. Let's see if I have another move. What about if I switch it around. So if I take on c3 first, that's also a good technique to do. Just switch around moves. If it doesn't work one way, maybe it works the other way, you don't know. So what about rook c3 first? If then queen takes c3, bishop takes h6, that should be pretty good for me. 2 pieces against the rook. And if bishop takes g7, then rook c2 runs into queen h6, so king takes g7, and then I have ideas with rook h8 and knight takes e2. So that seems to work. Alright. Takes, I take back, takes, and now I want to play my rook. And he couldn't play king g1 because of knight takes e2, and he plays knight h4, and now the knight is in this pin obviously, so I'm just going to win it with g5, and then again I have 2 pieces against the rook, and this should be winning. So in the solution, it doesn't say anything about bishop takes h6 here. Maybe that's possible too, but it could be that rook takes c3 is just even stronger. Alright, that's enough for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll be happy to see your comments and what you think. Alright, bye.